Yeah, I'm not gonna be smiling for very long. That's gonna be the last time you ever see me smile in my life. Right now, you can quote it. Anyways, this like they didn't even play today, and this is gonna be like a rant that has nothing to do with like the usual content. This is going back to like my earlier content. The fucking Timberwolves. I hate and love the Timberwolves. All right, one of the most passionate things, or one of my biggest passions, is basketball. I'm 5'9", like I've quoted many times. I understand I'm not gonna make it to league. So the second best thing I'm gonna try to do is be an analyst, right? Some guy that looks at basketball. One thing that I hate fucking looking at though is the Timberwolves. This is the only team I can possibly see in the entire league that can beat good teams and lose to the fucking Nets, to Sacramento. Any Sacramento fans watching me, nigga, fuck you. Because you're probably like, oh, the Timberwolves, the Sacramento's a good team. You niggas ain't been shit since 2022, 2021. Or that Kevin Herter arena pop. You niggas ain't been shit since. Don't you fucking lie to me, asshole. Don't you lie to me. And then, on top of that, look, I am a Rudy Gobert ride or die. You could never convince me Rudy Gobert is bad at basketball. Don't even fucking bring Ben Wallace into the conversation. Ben Wallace was one of my favorite centers before Rudy Gobert. Before Karl-Anthony Towns. He was my first, like, from what I at least remember, favorite player. He's not better than Rudy Gobert. He is better than Karl-Anthony Towns. Kind of. I mean, it just depends. Actually, he is. It just depends on, like comparing an only defense player to a primarily offensive player is kind of weird. You know what I mean? Like, you can compare fucking Dirk and Cat. Not like in terms of skill, I guess. Well, in terms of skill, yeah, but accomplishments, no. But what you can't compare is Ben Wallace to Dirk, because they did two separately different things. I just think that's unfair. You know what I mean? But what we're not going to sit here and do is say that Rudy Gobert is worse than Ben Wallace, when Ben Wallace is quite literally considered one of the most offensively, you know how it's like you can be gifted at something? He's gifted at not being gifted at a certain aspect of basketball. He is gifted at not being gifted offensively. That's how terrible he is. Or offensively. Defensively, guards 1 through 5. Fuck it, throw the 6-man in there. He could probably guard that nigga too. 5, and there's a question. 5 Ben Wallaces versus 5 Allen Iversons. That would be the longest, most boring game in the world. But going back to the Timberwolves, right? Because I just started ranting. The Timberwolves, I forgot the record, but if I can recall correctly, they're like 15-7, I think. And we're like the worst type of 15-7. We're the type where you're not really worried about us to an extent. I am solely convinced that we would do better in a first round than we would ever do in a play-in. And we've always won our play-ins recently, of course. It does have help to an extent. Julius Randle is great help. I don't think he necessarily needs a Robin. He needs a complete fucking team. We are past the point where you can make it to the finals with 2 good players. You cannot do that no more. You can't go out. LeBron's different, but you can't go out with a Dirk and an old, I think Tony Allen was on that team. Popeye Jones was on that team. You know, the big bug-eye guy. Fucking Jason Kidd. I keep forgetting the players on that team, but that team wasn't as bad as people say, but it was a Cinderella run for sure. But you cannot do that no more, where you have 1 good player in a solid team or 2 good players in an okay team. We are getting to a point where teams are so good and teams are so revolutionized that we've gotten to a point where a team has to be good at virtually everything to make it past that conference finals, because you're going to have to see OKC every single time. This is a team built off one of the most controversial trades in NBA history, and it paid off in one of the best, worst ways possible for basketball. You cannot see OKC winning or not winning a championship for years. I can see these niggas doing the first quadruple P. The first 4-time P, I can see that shit happening. And we're in 2025. We're not talking about Will. We're not talking about Bill Russell. We're not talking about fucking Jerry West, rest in peace. We're not talking about those guys. We're talking about a modern basketball where superstars come in plenty in every position. That is what we're talking about. We're talking about where superstars could be your 8th man right now if you was just put in the right position. That's been for a lot of history. But the Timberwolves cannot keep going like this. We need a point guard. We need a good bench. The bench is good, right? I don't think that we have a terrible bench. We have Terrence Shannon Jr. We have Jalen Clark. We have Naz Reid. We have Mike Conley's not a great starter, but he's an okay bench man. Who else am I thinking about? Come off the bench. I don't really think anybody else is that important to come off the bench right now. I do want to see more of Leonard Miller. I do think Leonard Miller could contribute to winning basketball. He is too good to be on the bench, but it could be another Luka Garza situation, which would really make me sad because I genuinely think he's really good. I hope he gets the Terrence Shannon Jr. love that Luka Garza was never able to get. But anyways, not to make this video too long, but the Timberwolves, we need a point guard. And I'm tired of looking at Ja Morant. We can't really afford Trae Young because I don't think Atlanta's going to keep Trae Young hostage like he is Joker going to Alcatraz. He's not leaving Atlanta unless he is getting clawed out of there. I think a good candidate for our team would be Coby White. And I might turn a lot of heads with that. He might not be that expensive right now, since Chicago is probably more willing to get rid of Coby White because they have Josh Giddey and other pieces. Kinda. Chicago's one of those teams that they're super stingy and they're probably not willing to get rid of a lot of assets since they're starting to get picks and they don't have the best players like Patrick Williams. I don't know why he was drafted that high. He didn't know he was drafted that high. He probably thought he was getting prank called like Shedeur Sanders. Who knows? But I genuinely think if we can get a player like Coby White, I haven't thought of a second option, but another thing, leave Chris Paul alone. Let that man retire. He has a wife and kids now, and he's 40 years old. He's not LeBron. Please let that man just retire and become a coach later in the future. We do not want him on the Timberwolves. Please no, because then we're just running into another Mike Conley situation about an old guy that just can't score. Can he pass the ball? Sure. Is he a great coach? Sure. Oh, I forgot we have Rod Dillingham. But yeah, Coby White is a player that genuinely would do good because not only can he pass, he can pop off for good games. That's what we need. We need somebody that can consistently be unconsistently good, if that makes sense. Like Dante DiVincenzo, I'm sorry to say, Minnesota fans, I know you don't want to hear this. He's not good. He is good. He's one of the best spot-up shooters, I think, in the league right now, and kinda. But he takes too many bad shots that aren't spot-up shots, right? He's just not shooting good. And defensively, he doesn't bring the best value. Not saying that Coby White would, but it would. I think a person that is consistently unconsistently good would do us more than a guy who's just generally just not great, right? Sure, Dante DiVincenzo can give you glimpses of New York, but he can also give you glimpses of Milwaukee, if that makes sense. and then morph it with the modern day Timberwolves. He can give you a new type of smelling of ass on some Bean Boozled shit, right? But the Timberwolves, I just genuinely expect more from them. They're not hitting the mark for me. I know that they usually tend to pick up pace later on, but I mean, right now we'll see. I know they're waiting till trade deadline to see what we're working with, to maybe bring up some more value on certain players, so we have more to work with when it comes to the trade deadline. But I genuinely hope that we can make that push for a player like Coby White and not Ja Morant. That is about all.